All right. For a long time, I've been saying, maybe not on videos in this channel and whatnot, but the UK police have become an absolute joke. While they have rape gangs, they've covered up rape gangs for years because they don't want to appear racist. Man, you gotta know that this is the fall of Western civilization when your government tells the police and the head of the police say, "Well, we're not going to go after this because we're so afraid of being called racist." Meanwhile, children are getting raped. Like I don't know, man. Makes me want to fucking go off grid and move into the boonies. Anyways, I've always said the UK police have become a joke. They're the laughing stock of police everywhere. Canada's not that much better. Well, we are, but we're getting there. We're getting there. I can see the future. Anyways, here's an interesting story. Just came out of the UK where a husband and wife get arrested because of WhatsApp comments. Like legit, police come to their door.
12, I was on a Zoom call for a work project when on my Zoom screen, in the little window where I saw my own face, I realised that two police officers were standing behind me. Another two police officers were arresting my partner, Rosalind, in front of Francesca, our 3-year-old daughter. They bundled us into the police cars and took us off to custody at Stevenage Police Station, where we remained for the next 12 hours. He arrested me on suspicion of harassment.
Whoops. Anyways, here's the thing. This is the problem here. These cops made a big show of it, and I'm sure it wasn't these individual guys. Usually it's supervisors, right? This comes from a supervisory level, and said go to this house. You got 6 coppers. Now I get it; they're not armed. That's probably why they show up in numbers, but they got 6 coppers going there to arrest 2 people. All they had to do, legit, leave a business card with a message, call me. You call them up, you say, listen, you're in a bit of hot water, come down to the police station, we're going to chat. They call it dial a pinch. And you have them come down to the police station. You don't have to make a big spectacle of this, handcuffs and all this nonsense. You have them come down to the police station, you place them under arrest, you give them their rights, and then you do what you got to do. This is absolute bullshit. I would be so embarrassed to be a police officer in the United Kingdom. In fact, I met cops from the United Kingdom, and and I'm going back 20 years ago, and they say it was bad then, right? Like if you even hit somebody while you're arresting them because they're resisting, you'd get people suing you, making complaints, right? It is an absolutely terrible place to be a cop, and it's an embarrassment. Now, I imagine, if I can go off track here for a second, folks, that someone joining the UK police now, this is all normal, right? Things change gradually over time, and I can only imagine the old timers there going, what the fuck happened here? The UK has become such a joke, communicating an offense. That's what these people were charged with.
And malicious communication.
Malicious
And
communication.
it's to do with a dispute with our daughter's primary school, which began with posts on a WhatsApp group. On the 23rd of November 2023, the head teacher of my daughter's primary school announced he would retire. But what seemed strange to me was the Board of Governors decided immediately to appoint the deputy head as acting head 10 months later without even advertising the job. So I made some inquiries. I contacted the chair of governors in private and in good faith and asked her to explain what a rationale was and what was going to happen. Her response, in my opinion, was rather evasive. So I asked again, and I wrote to all the governors asking them to explain what was happening and why they decided to do that. I posted that letter in a WhatsApp group. It's a private parents' WhatsApp group. Like most parents, we chunted about a few things.
All right, so some of the comments that I've seen is like, this guy's a Karen, this guy's a Karen. Maybe he is. Like, this could be a WhatsApp group full of Karens. But if you got kids in a school, you're going to have a group and you're going to bitch and complain about, anything and everything about the school. And why does he care about the replacement? I don't know. There's probably something more to this, right? Maybe there's some other, maybe his wife was going for the job. I don't know. It doesn't matter, though. That's the thing. It doesn't matter whether he's a Karen. What's worse, being a Karen or using the police to arrest because someone's feelings were hurt. Someone, at the end of the day, this is a story about someone's ego being bruised and them taking it out on the people who are bruising the ego. That's the long and short of it. And the cops got used. The cops were used as a tool. And let me tell you something. Cops hate that. Cops hate being used as tools.
One thing we talked about on that
Tools for agendas, I should clarify.
group was a letter from the school commanding all parents not to talk about the school on Facebook or social media or WhatsApp groups. We thought that was a bit off.
So, yeah, don't talk about the school, which could cause disharmony within the school or distress to members of the school community. Well, that's completely subjective. I mean, Jesus Christ, we know how many fucking snowflakes are out there that get distressed over a misgendering. You know, I mean, people get distressed over the slightest criticism. So what? You're not supposed to criticize anybody anymore? Listen, this is a public institution. I don't give a good, if my kid's in that school, I don't give a good goddamn if you're distressed, okay? I'm going to bitch and complain if I want to, right? Who is this school to tell people what to do, what they can and cannot talk about? Right? They know they can't. They can't control people. And what's with this font, by the way? I saw this in another video. Someone said, what's with the Comic Sans font? Who uses that? Anyways, neither here nor there, muchachos. But this is just fucking mind-blowing to me, you know? Don't talk about us because our feelings are hurt, you know? And if you do, we'll call the cops.
My partner Rosalind made a handful of vaguely spicy comments. She referred to one school leader as a control freak. She said the chair of governors didn't know much about anything. Out of the blue, on the 12th of July last year, the chair of governors wrote to Rosalind and me. She accused us of posting disparaging and inflammatory comments on WhatsApp and Facebook. And she...
So what? You're not allowed to, like, who the fuck are you to say you can't post disparaging comments? Maybe the person deserves it, right? Like, this is where I would get in so much trouble in the UK. I'd write back and be like, fucking get bent, okay? I will make disparaging comments about whoever, wherever, and whenever I want to. And if you don't like it, you can eat my ass with a silver spoon. How about that, motherfucker?
She warned us that if we didn't stop, she would ban us from our daughter's school. So we pushed back. We complained. We denied the accusations. We complained that they'd been accessing our messages. And 2 days later, they banned us from the school. Now, this ban had really serious implications.
How are you going to ban parents from going to the school where their child goes? Right? Like, that is over some WhatsApp comments. That's utterly absurd. If a parent comes to the school and starts raging out and smashing shit, yeah, I get it. But these people are so fragile in the UK. These people in positions of authority are so fragile that mere comments on WhatsApp, criticism, is enough for them to go, oh my God, to fill their diapers. Unbelievable. This is the state we're in the West. Eastern Europe, Russia, all these places, they're, the Middle East, they're just laughing at us because we're all a bunch of pussies in the West.
Implications for our daughter, Sasha. She has epilepsy, she's disabled, she has special needs. We weren't allowed to have normal conversations with the school. We could only send emails. So we had to send emails about everything our daughter needed for her health and education. We were going through the school's formal complaints policy. And then on the 20th December, there was a knock on the door. It was a police officer. He told me in no uncertain terms not to contact the school, not to speak to anybody about the head teacher recruitment issue. He even told me to take my daughter out of the school.
Okay. A couple things there. I would love to be able to speak to the cop that went to that house. Now, because you never know. You might be dealing with a true believer here. Or you might be dealing with a cop who's like, oh my God, does the old fucking face palm and is like, I can't believe this is my job. I got to go and warn this guy not to talk about the headmaster issue. Like, that is not policing. And, so you get one of the two. You get a believer or a guy who sees it for what it is, but gets told, again, by a supervisor, go talk to this guy. Again, if I was this dad, I would be like, who the fuck are you to tell me what I can and cannot talk about, right? Being offended is entirely subjective, and people think that they're owed something if they're offended. Oh, it's like back in the old days, like, you have tarnished my honor, sir. I must have satisfaction. That's what these people are like, right? You've hurt my feelings. I demand some sort of compensation for my hurt feelings. Fuck off.
In the end, we gave up, I suppose. We took Sasha out of the school. 5 days later, the police turned up. When we were finally interviewed, the detective, who'd had no previous involvement with the case, he turned out not to have any evidence of those alleged crimes. He had no documents, he had no first-hand accounts. He just had a vague statement from the acting head teacher at the school. It was Kafkaesque. It was surreal. It was bizarre. It was horrific.
Okay, so let's take what he's saying on its face value here, okay? Because a lot of times these things, there's always more to the story. But let's just take it on face value. Let's say the guy in charge of this case only had a statement from the victim. No witness statements, no nothing like that. Then they just did a piss poor job and just going through the motions, right? Which is probably the case, I would imagine. Because I would imagine UK police are probably inundated with this kind of nonsense. Because people have learned now, oh, someone's hurt my feelings, malicious communications. Someone made a Facebook post I don't like about group XYZ, malicious communications. And just so you know, if you're watching this from Canada, that's happening here too. Okay? Human rights tribunals, man, don't even get me started on that bullshit. Same sort of thing, Bill C-63. Anyways, let's continue.
Eventually, we were put on police bail and discharged at midnight. We got a £75 cab back to our house in Bourne.
Sorry, and I can't believe this took 12 hours. 12 hours? That's ridiculous.
About 2 or 3 days later, a kind of PTSD began to kick in. I mean, did that really happen? Even now, 2 months later, when I see a police car go by somewhere near our house, I shudder. I think, are they coming back for us again? Eventually, we got a call from the detective in charge of the case. He said to Rosalind, "We're taking it no further." I have found no evidence for these offences. And that...
It took him 12 hours to find no evidence of offenses. I mean... These people never should have been arrested in the first place. Like I said, cops never should have gone to their house. They could have easily called them. Hey, come to the station. Easy. Even people, let me tell you something, folks. Even people who commit actual crimes will go to once they know, like, okay, they're going to be arrested and charged, they'll be like, okay, I might as well go and get this over with. And these are people who commit actual crimes. Surely these folks would have gone to the police station to sort this out. The fact that they were there for 12 hours is fucking mind-blowing, though. Good God. I'd be embarrassed to be a cop in the UK.
That was it. It was over. And even now, we still don't know what we're meant to have said or done, which was so terrible, or justified sending 6 police officers to our house. I don't know if we're the first parents to get our collars felt by the police for putting a school's nose out of joint, but I hope we're the last.
Hertfordshire Police has said, following reports of harassment and malicious communications, which are criminal offences, a man and a woman from Borehamwood, both aged in their 40s, were arrested on Wednesday, 29 January. The arrests were necessary to fully investigate the allegations, as is routine in these types of...
I'm going to go out on a limb and say the arrests were not necessary at all. See, here's the thing. If all the one guy has is a statement from the victim, then they didn't do a full investigation. You could have done a full investigation and then had them come in, have a chat with them, and then release them. All of this could have literally been done before they even spoke to the people. And then upon speaking to the people, then it would have been completed. Then they could have determined whether they're going to charge or release them. They did not need to go to their house and arrest them. That was just a show of force. I'm sorry, but that's bullshit. The Hertfordshire police can fucking suck a bag of cocks because this is a bullshit statement.
of matters. Following further investigations, officers deemed that no further action should be taken due to insufficient.
So the evidence could have been found, like, collected before you even went to the house. Like, you didn't need the people to be in cuffs and taken to the station for 12 hours to collect all the evidence. The last piece of evidence would have been their statements. That's it. Okay? You could have done all that beforehand, but you didn't.
Sufficient evidence. A spokesperson for Hertfordshire County Council said an interim head was appointed for the one term to allow time for a proper recruitment process to be carried out. The role was advertised publicly and the recruitment was supported by external professional advisors. We are confident that this was a fair, transparent and time.
Okay. Maybe this guy's a Karen. That's totally possible. I get it. Maybe he's got some ulterior motive. I get it. I'm not talking about that, though. I'm talking about the fact that the cops rolling 6 deep into like the hood, like, what is this, training day? This is just absolutely absurd. The UK police are an embarrassment, an absolute embarrassment. The UK laws are an embarrassment. Okay. There's no such thing as freedom of speech in the UK. There's like none whatsoever. Same with Canada. Yeah, folks, anyways, that's it. What a joke. What a joke the UK police are. Canada, we're getting there. The Human Rights Tribunal, I mean, comedians are getting charged, fined tens of thousands of dollars for telling jokes. It's absolutely absurd. And it's only going to get worse if Bill C-63 gets passed, where you can post stuff online and someone can file anonymously a human rights complaint. We'll get into the human rights tribunals later. This has gone on long enough, but I got a lot to say about that bullshit. Anyways, muchachos, peace out.